Good evening, everyone, and welcome. My name is Colin von Liebtag, and I am the Assistant Director for Alumni Career Development for the Rutgers University Alumni Association. I thank you all for being with us this evening and hope you are safe and healthy. During this time of social distancing, the Rutgers University Alumni Association is offering virtual programs to help keep alumni connected. Tonight, we are honored to have with us Caitlin Murphy, Manager of Academic Programs at Wix.com, to discuss ways to enhance your online presence through website creation and portfolio development. Now more than ever, maintaining a professional online presence is essential. Whether you're looking to learn a new digital skill, grow your business, or develop your personal brand, it's critical to stand out in a positive way online, especially at a time when so much is virtual in nature. Tonight, Caitlin will demonstrate how you can manage and grow your online presence as you creatively navigate career paths. Just as a reminder, all attendees have been placed on mute for the duration of this program. The program will be recorded as well. If you have any questions, please feel free to send them via the Q&A option at the bottom of your screen. Questions will be answered at the end of the program, and we will get to as many questions as possible. It is now my privilege to turn it over to Caitlin Murphy. Thanks, Caitlin.
Thanks, Colin. Hi, everyone. Hopefully you can hear me coming through. My name is Caitlin, joining you today from Wix. Thanks so much for inviting me to share a little bit about how to develop your online presence. So today we're going to cover, of course, why it's important to invest time, particularly now, in building your personal portfolio or brand online. We'll talk about how you can begin to plan your site, how to design your site, and how to manage your site as well. So let's get started and kick things off with a question. Why do you need a website? And I think all of you are here today. You're ready to roll up your sleeves and invest time in doing so. But just a couple of things to keep in mind, why it's so vital, why it's so important. First, a website allows you to take ownership of your online content. And this is important because there's probably a lot of content already about you out there on the web. Most likely it's content you and your friends have posted on social media. And that might not be the content you want a hiring manager or potential client to find when they search for your name in Google. So creating a website gives you the opportunity to take control and make sure that your professional online presence is what's going to be made discoverable when people type in your name or your brand on Google. Other reasons why it's important to have a website: it allows you to define your personal brand and tell your story. It really allows you to go one step further beyond a traditional resume or LinkedIn profile. A website will also allow you to showcase your best work, and it enables people to contact you. So it allows people to connect with you through social media, email you, chat, and so forth. And then finally, it sets you apart from others who don't have a website. So it's a true competitive advantage. So a few of you may have joined today's webinar thinking, oh my gosh, I know I need a website, but I have no idea where to begin. I know it can be expensive. It's going to take me a lot of time. I don't have any coding skills. I have no computer science background. How am I going to do this? Okay. Rest assured, with Wix, you don't have to worry about any of those potential concerns. So for anyone who's not familiar with Wix.com, it's a place to create professional websites. It's extremely intuitive and easy to use. Everything is drag and drop, so you don't need to know how to code. All right, so hopefully after today's session, you'll be able to, really begin developing your site. You'll have the confidence to, see it through and launch your own professional online presence. All right, a little bit more about how Wix works. So with Wix, you can create as many professional websites as you'd like for free. Wix is run as a freemium model, so similar to Spotify. The majority of our users use Wix for free, but then we do have additional benefits and features that our users will upgrade to access. Okay, so for example, if you do decide to upgrade to a Wix premium plan, additional benefits might be because you want to customize your own domain, like yourname.com, yourbusiness.com. Maybe you're building an online business and therefore you want to be able to accept online payments. So these are just some of the features that come with some of our premium plans. The reason why I like to share this now in this part of the presentation is, one, just to be upfront with how Wix works, but also to share that at the end of the session today, I'll be offering a coupon code to upgrade to a Wix premium plan for free for a year. This is something we like to do with our academic partners. So for all of the Rutgers students and alumni here on the webinar today, you'll be able to use that code to explore some of these features if you decide that's important for you. Otherwise, like I said, most of our users use the platform for free. All right, so with that, I'm going to just share with you our first example of a portfolio built with Wix. I'm going to go ahead and click on Ivy Chen's homepage here, and I'm going to begin scrolling down her page. Okay, so Ivy is a fashion design student and illustrator who attended the Parsons School of Design. And you can see hopefully these really interesting scrolling effects that as I move down her homepage are allowing us to learn about Ivy, see her personal style, and really see how creative and talented she is in fashion design and illustration. So again, this site was built without code. This is all drag and drop Wix features. The other great thing about Ivy's site, you'll see over here on the left, she has a little bit more of a non-traditional menu. Okay, but when I click on that, I'm able to dive deeper into her portfolio, check out more of her fashion and illustration projects, and then also learn more about Ivy. Okay, and then connect with her on Gmail. All right, so I just love this example. I think it really kind of shows really what's possible and how creative students can be with the platform. All right, so now we're going to segue into a little bit about planning your website. So for anyone who's just really at the start of the process, here are going to be just a couple of helpful tips to get you, thinking about what's important and how to approach, developing your portfolio. So the first step is to define your goal. And for most of you, your goal will be to build a professional home or portfolio for your work. For some of you, you might also want to build a site to promote a side business or to start a blog. Maybe some of you are looking to be freelancers or entrepreneurs looking to launch their business online. No matter what you're looking to do, you always just want to make sure that you're really clear upfront about what your goal is, okay? Because this will determine what type of content you'll need to include on your site. So that's step one. Once you've defined your goals, you then want to take some time to gather your content. And this is typically the hardest step in the entire process. So you want to make sure you carve out enough time to really curate your best projects, or write an about me paragraph or introduction. Maybe you need more time to kind of finally polish off that resume, or have someone take a professional headshot, or just get a really high quality image of yourself. These are the things that can really take time, but I always recommend doing this in advance, so then that way when you begin building your site, you have everything ready to go. The next step is to then organize your content. Okay, so here's an example of a sitemap, which is a helpful tool to use to kind of sketch out what pages or sections you might need for your website. So in this example, this student has what we call primary pages going across the top here, as well as secondary or sub pages. Okay, so something you might want to think about as you're thinking about the organization of your site. For those who are just starting off and building your portfolio, I always recommend starting with the basic pages or sections. And that's going to be an about me page or section, a way to highlight your projects or your resume, and then a page or section where people can contact you. And that can be through a contact form, email, social media, whatever your preference is. Start with those three basic pages or sections, and then you can always add and build more content as you go. Okay. All right, the fourth and final step is to find your style. So this is just the the time when you want to think about how you can inject some of your own personality into your site design. So here are some questions you might want to think about. You might want to think about what type of industry or type of work you want to do. That might kind of influence your design. You might want to think about what colors or images might speak to your personality and how you can weave that into your web design. Okay, so some students like to do like a Pinterest board or a mood board just to kind of generate inspiration and ideas. All right, so those are the steps you want to take in the planning process. And again, it's just kind of helpful to do a little work before you go into building your website. If you remember 3 things from our presentation today, you want to remember that every website should have the following. Okay, the first is a clear message. And we typically refer to a clear message as a call to action or CTA. A simple example of a CTA is if you're selling something. You'd want to have a button on your website that reads buy now or shop now. Other CTAs could be RSVP to my event, or in the case of a portfolio, download my resume, or contact me. It's all about making sure that your site visitors don't have a hard time figuring out what you want them to do. So this is probably the most common miss or mistake I see with students as they're developing their portfolio. They kind of bury the lead, or they're not very specific or clear on what action you want their visitors to take when they land on their page. Okay, so remember your CTAs. The second point here is to have quality content. And that could mean high quality images. So just be careful about grabbing images off social media. They may become pixelated when you add them to your website. You want to make sure you proofread your writing, make sure there are no grammatical errors and so forth. And then the third point here is great design. And this is where Wix comes in and can really help you out. So with Wix, we offer our users hundreds of designer-made, professional-looking templates for you to use, so you don't have to, worry about having a really good, professional-looking website. And I'm going to show you more of these templates and offer design tips as we go and move into the demo portion of the session. All right, so before we move into Wix, I'm going to just share a couple more examples, and also just a point here. I will be sharing a copy of this presentation with Colin and team. So, if you want to take a look at some of these examples at a later date, you'll have access to this material. All right, so this next student is an engineering student. This is his portfolio website. And it's, much different than the one we saw from Ivy a few minutes ago. It's a little bit more of a traditional layout with the menu up top here. But I'll just go ahead and scroll down his homepage. He's kind of using a very, bold color palette, but very consistent. And he's talking, a lot about what he likes to do, both professionally as well as personally, which is something you might want to consider adding to your portfolio as well. And he has a lot of nice animations, and he does a nice job of having a clear call to action to connect or to talk with him through this contact form. Up top here, you can navigate to his resume. And he kind of has a little graphic here, but a lot of students will just have a PDF or of their CV or resume accessible. Of course, he has an About Me page. And then you can dive deeper into the 2 categories of work he's presenting here, research and art. Okay, so, a different style, but still very professional looking portfolio. All right, this next example comes from a graduate student. Her name is Jamie Celeste. She's currently attending Santa Clara University. This is her portfolio. And again, just looks overall very professional. She has a great, just intro statement and welcome. Jamie's keeping her portfolio up to date with a blog as well. So Wix has a great blog tool if that's something that interests you. She too also has a couple different ways you can connect with her, both on social media, through email, and then you can see you can access her resume and portfolio. And she does a nice job of making her portfolio a little bit more visual. All right. All right, and there's a couple of more examples here in the presentation, which again, I'll share with you, but hopefully you're getting just a nice sense of, the content you can include in your portfolio, as well as the types of layouts and pages that you might want to consider. Before we move on, I will just also highlight this final example here, just because it's not a portfolio. And I know we might have some students or alumni here that are also thinking about developing a website for a business or maybe a initiative or project they're looking to launch online. This, of course, is an e-commerce website. This is Celebs on Sandwiches, a great illustrator who uses the Wix platform to manage, promote his business online. So it's just nice to highlight that with Wix, you also have a lot of tools that you can use, e-commerce, booking tools, blogs, lots of different opportunities if you are thinking about building more of a business online and you're looking for ways to manage it. So I'll highlight that in the demo as well, where you can access those types of tools. Okay. All right. And then finally, I just have some do's and don'ts to share here in the presentation. I won't go through these, in depth right now. We've covered a couple, and we'll continue to talk about these throughout the demonstration. But again, they're here as a reference for the presentation. All right, so that's just a little bit about kind of best practices, inspiration, things to consider for your website. And now we're going to segue over to the live demo session. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and just open a new browser tab. Anyone who wants to kind of follow along at home while you're dialed into the presentation, feel free to head to wix.com. That's all you need to do to get started with Wix. All right. For anyone who may have used Wix in the past and already have an account, you can go ahead and click sign in to get started. For anyone who's new to Wix, I'm going to go ahead and begin the new user process. So I'm going to go ahead and click get started here in the blue in the middle. All right, and with Wix, you just need an email and a password to create an account. And you can also log in with your Facebook or Google credentials. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and click sign up. All right, and I'm going to just create a new account. Okay, very long email address that I imagine nobody has. All right, and type in my password and go ahead and click sign up. Okay, and now Wix is just going to welcome you and ask you just a couple of questions to guide you through the new user experience. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the blue button to begin. And the first question is, who do you want to create a website for? And I'm going to go ahead and select myself. Have you created a website before? I'm going to go ahead and say this is my first time. And then it'll ask, what kind of website do you need? So in my case, I'm going to go ahead and select portfolio and click next. But of course, you can enter any word or phrase here, depending on what you're looking to create. So this next screen is really important and one that you want to take note of. So with Wix, you have two ways that you can create a website. The first one over here on the left is using Wix ADI, which just stands for Artificial Design Intelligence. So in this scenario, Wix is going to ask you a few questions and then design a website for you in a couple of minutes, okay? The option over here on the right is the one I recommend for all students. And this is to create your website by working in the Wix editor and by choosing a template. Okay. This option here is going to give you more flexibility and more customization options to design the website that you ideally want to create. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and click choose a template. All right, I'm just going to resize my screen here. And you'll see now we're in the Wix template library. And as I mentioned earlier, here's where we offer our users hundreds of professionally designed templates that you can use to build your website. Okay. As you browse our different templates, you can hover over any of them, click view, and now you can really get a sense for what this template experience is, what this website experience is going to be like for your visitors. You can navigate from page to page and so forth. You can also view any website in the mobile format. So one of the best practices that I remind students is that you want to be designing your portfolio for both desktop and mobile. Because as we know, most people are going to access your website from their mobile phone. Okay, so over here on the top left, as you're browsing a template, you can click on the mobile icon, and now you can get a feel for what that experience is going to be like in the mobile environment. All right, maybe you're not into this template, you want to keep browsing. You'll see up top here, we have tons of different categories of templates. So maybe you're looking more for a business solution. You can browse the different categories here. We have a lot of different creative templates. So maybe you're looking to promote, your talents in photography. You can view the different templates here. Okay. Some students really have a clear vision of what they want to create and are looking to create something from scratch. And so in that case, you can move over here to the right and select our blank templates category, and you can, start from a blank page. The good thing to remember about templates is that everything you see in the template is completely customizable. So colors, fonts, image styles, layouts, you can adjust all of those on your own. So it's really just a foundation for you to get started with your website. All right. Some students like to even pull a website from a different category. So in this case, I'm browsing music templates, but maybe there's one here that looks like it's a good fit with my unique style. So I want to use it for my portfolio. So you can use them interchangeably. You don't have to stick with one category. Okay. Once you're ready to start designing your site from a template, you can hover over it, click edit, and now you'll be brought into the Wix editor. All right. And now you're here in your workspace, and this is where you're going to add new content and begin to design your website. So here in the editor, as soon as I click on an element, so this image, for example, I can begin resizing the image. I can move it around on my page. You'll begin to see how easy it is to kind of drag and drop elements throughout the site. When I have an element selected, so again, like this image, you'll see a floating menu will appear. And here's where you have all of your design and customization options. So for example, this paintbrush will allow me to change the design of this image. So maybe I want to make it round. You also have a filter option. So maybe I want to change kind of the mood, similar to Instagram of the image. I can do that here as well. With text, you can begin editing text by clicking the button here in the mini menu. All right, and here's where you can change the font and change the color. Okay, and of course you can double click to begin editing your text. All right. Any element you see here on your page that you want to remove, you can simply select, hit delete on your keyboard. Okay, and if you make a mistake, always remember your most powerful buttons up top here where my mouse are, your undo and your redo button. Okay, So that's kind of the general gist. Like I said, really easy to kind of start editing, moving things around your page. But now I want to take and move your attention up to the top of my screen. I'm just going to highlight a few things in the main menu that I think are really important. So over here where my mouse is, you'll see we're currently editing our website for desktop. But of course, we can easily switch to our mobile editor by clicking the mobile icon. And now we can see how our website is going to look on a mobile phone. All right. The important thing to remember as you're toggling between the two editors is that any edit or change you make in the desktop version will be automatically reflected in mobile. However, it doesn't work the other way around. So for example, maybe in this instance, we want to remove this welcome text from the mobile version. Maybe we just want to leave the image. Okay, so I've deleted it here. Now when I toggle back to desktop, you'll see that this text is still in place. All right, so just keep that in mind as you're working between the two editors. Over here in the top right-hand corner, I'm going to go ahead and click the Save button for the first time. And when I do that, I'm presented with my free Wix.com domain. And you'll see it'll be the email handle I created my Wix user account with, .wixsite.com. And then anything after the backslash I can change. Okay. If you want to connect to a customized domain, you can begin that process here. But just remember that's one of those premium plan features or benefits that you'll need to use the coupon code to upgrade to be able to do. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and click Save and Continue, and now Wix will auto save your work as you're editing. All right. Next button is your Preview button, so you can get a sense for what the website's going to look like, once it's live. You can click the green button to go back to your editor. And then the final button here is your blue Publish button. So as soon as you click that button, your website will be published. The site is now live and online, and you can access it here. Okay, so it's as simple and as fast as that. Just a click of that Publish button, and now we're live. Okay. All right, so back to the editor. Now I'm going to actually move our attention over here to the left-hand side, where we have a number of different panels that will allow you to edit, customize your website and add new content. So the first panel we're going to cover is menus and pages. Okay. When I click on this panel, you're going to see all the different pages in your website. And these will, differ depending on which template you started from. Okay. So here's where you can navigate from page to page. Okay. You can also add a new page. So you just move down here to the blue button, click Add Page. All right, so maybe we want to add a resume page. Just type in the name, click Done. And you'll notice when I add a page here in the panel, it also automatically gets added here in my navigation menu. So you don't have to do it in two places. It's automatic. The same if we wanted to delete a page. So for example, maybe we want to remove this EPK page. We can go ahead and click the three-dot menu, move down to delete, click to confirm, and now that page is also removed from our navigation menu. Okay. The other thing you might want to do here in the menus and pages panel is create secondary or subpages, similar to what we saw in our sitemap example earlier. So in this case, maybe you want to have tour and music fall under the About section. So I'm going to move up the tour page under About, click, drag, and move it to the right. I'll do the same with music. I'm going to click, drag, move it to the right. And you'll see it'll create a natural indentation. And then when I go to preview my website, hover over About, you can now navigate to the tour and music page. Okay, so just something to keep in mind if you want to create sub or secondary pages for your website. All right, so that's your first panel. This is where you're going to really create and customize your navigation menu, add and delete pages. The next panel is your page background panel. And with page background, you have 3 different options for how you can customize your pages. The first is to have a color background. So when we click on color, you can choose any of the colors here in the palette. You can also add colors. Okay, so currently we just have a plain white background. The second option is to have an image for your background. And as soon as you click image, you're being brought into the Wix Media Manager. And here's where you're going to be able to upload your own media throughout the design process. So you'll see here where my mouse is, top left corner, this blue button. When I click upload media, here's where I can upload an image from my own computer, or I can access files from Google Drive, Dropbox, and so forth. Okay? If you didn't have your own image for your background, you could also use what I think is one of the greatest features with Wix, Media from Wix. And that's about halfway down over here on the left. And Media from Wix offers one or thousands of copyright-free images, videos, illustrations, patterns, all free for you to use to design your website. Okay, and you can see they're organized in all different types of categories. I'm going to go ahead and navigate to the architecture category. And I'm going to select this Golden Gate Bridge background for my home page. Okay. So you can see just by changing the background to an image, my website is starting to kind of take on its own unique personality. It's no longer looking exactly like the template I started from. All right, and then the third option with page background is video. And you can see here when I click video, again, you can upload your own, or you can explore media from Wix. So again, we'll navigate to the architecture category. Okay. And maybe we'll choose this urban view background, the cityscape here. And then I'm going to click change background. All right, so you'll see here in the editor, the video is actually static. So what you want to do is go up to preview. All right, and now you can hopefully start to see kind of the movement in the background, the video being played. I think it's a nice feature. It's a pretty popular trend right now in web design, so it might be something you want to consider, adding a video background to your site. Okay. I'm just going to go back to the editor. All right, and I'm just going to bring this back to just a solid color background as we continue to explore new features and add content. All right. And just a reminder, if anyone has questions as I'm going through the material, I know I'm showing you a lot of new content. Feel free to drop them in the message box. And before we wrap up, I'll be sure to answer those questions. Okay. All right, so moving along, we're going to now explore the third panel, which is your ad panel. And here's where you have tons of different design elements, features to really add and create the content for your website. Okay, so the first item here is text. Okay, so anytime you want to add a new element to your site, so if you want to add maybe just a paragraph of text, you can simply click, drag, and drop it on your page. Okay, and here you can again, double click and begin, adding your new content. Okay, and so forth. So you can see how easy it is to just drag and drop. All right, so that's text. Image is the next option. Again, you can upload your own images to add here. You can access more free Wix images. Again, just simply drag and drop. Below image is a category for buttons. Okay, and buttons may seem kind of insignificant or small, but they're in fact super important to your website. All right, and you can see here we have all sorts of different categories of buttons. But with buttons, this is where you can really highlight your CTAs, or remember, your call to actions. So buttons allows you to, navigate, or allows your visitors to navigate from page to page or section to section, and really can close the loop on the actions you want them to take. Okay, so you can see all sorts of different CTAs here that you can choose from. You can also, of course, customize any of these buttons. So I'm going to go ahead and drag and drop one onto my page. Okay, I'm going to place it here under that text I just added. And the first thing you're going to want to do is change the text of the button and input your call to action. So in this case, I'm going to say download my resume, since this is my portfolio. All right, so that's the text. And now the second part is to add a link. So where is this button going to take me? And anytime you see this blue chain icon, that just means you can link an item. All right, so you can see here I could link this button to a web address, to another page in my website, to a document, maybe a PDF of my portfolio, of my resume. All right, so you have lots of different options. In this case, I'm going to select page and direct this button to link to my new resume page. Okay, so select resume, click done. All right, I'm going to make this a little bit bigger so the text is readable. And now when I click preview, I'm going to hover over this button and click, and you'll see it now takes me to my resume page. Okay, so just remember to use buttons, to create those call to actions and to help, your visitors navigate throughout your website. Okay, so back to the home page and back to our ad panel. All right, so we explored buttons. Of course, I won't be able to go through all these elements today. I'm just going to hit upon a few that might be helpful for you. The next category is gallery. Okay, and this is really a great way to highlight a lot of images or videos that you might want to showcase, images of your work. A lot of students like to use a gallery to also have visitors navigate from different projects in their portfolio. So again, these are really simple, ways you can add new content, just drag and drop it. And of course, you can customize the layout, how visitors are going to, interact with your gallery and so forth. Okay. Below gallery, we have a whole category of what we call just decorative items. Okay, so things like lines and shapes. We also have halfway down a section of vector art. For anyone who's not familiar with vector art, it's actually a great type of file, because what vector art allows you to do is to expand the image type, and it won't really lose its quality. It won't become pixelated. Okay, so let me show you. I'm going to add this flower here to my site. Maybe it'll become, a little icon or logo. All right, and now you can see if I were to expand that image, it's going to keep its quality. Okay. The other great thing about vector art is here in the mini menu, if you hover over the design paintbrush and click, you have the option to change the colors of this image. Okay, and so now I can match it to my, personal brand or color palette here that I'm using consistently throughout my website. Okay, so it's important to, keep consistent with your, your design, and vector art allows you to do that pretty easily. Okay, a lot of students use vector art to create, iconography throughout their site, and some will use it to create like a logo. You can, of course, also upload your own vector art as well. Okay, so again, just more of a design element here in the decorative category. The next section we have here is interactive. These are great ways to add a little bit more movement to your site, to things like slideshows. For portfolio purposes, this is a great way to highlight some of your projects or experiences. Okay, we also have these really nice hover boxes that you can use. So again, worth exploring, and very easy to drag and drop onto your site. All right. Other kind of ways to think about showcasing your content layout, we have what we call lists and grids. Okay, these are just kind of templated templated ways that you can organize content or images. And of course, you can customize any element here, but ways that you can, showcase maybe certain points or different types of work that you do in your portfolio. All right, below that, we have video and music. Okay, so I know a lot of students like to add videos, either that they've created or video presentations that they've given. So there's a lot of different ways you can add video to your portfolio. Right off the top here, we have a single video player. So maybe you have something that you have hosted on YouTube or Vimeo, really easy to integrate here into your Wix site. So for example, I can just drag and drop this YouTube video player here on my homepage. Maybe we'll have it instead of our image. Okay, you can certainly resize it. And then all you would have to do is click change video, input the unique URL or web address for that YouTube video, and then you can customize kind of the experience, right? So maybe have it autoplay when a visitor lands on your site, give it a description and so forth. Okay, so now when we go up to preview, that video will automatically begin playing here on my homepage. Okay. All right. Here in video, we also have ways you can create more video channels with Wix videos. So if you have multiple videos, a collection of videos, you can create more of a channel experience. And then we have kind of more design, video boxes, video masks, just more kind of fun, funky elements that you can add from a creative perspective that use video, just to keep things exciting. Add more movement to your site. So like we have 3D videos here. So for example, if I drop this butterfly here on my page and click preview, kind of really just pops and adds a little bit more visual interest to my homepage. Okay, so again, just worth exploring what we have in the video category. All right. Another kind of best practice or must-have I would suggest for students is to make sure that if you are using social media for professional purposes, to add a social toolbar. Okay, and you can see that here. We have tons of different styles, all of course customizable. So I'm going to go ahead and drag and drop one onto my page. Okay, and you'll notice I actually am moving it up top here, and I'm attaching it to my header. Okay, and your header essentially is everything that sits above this horizontal grid line. Okay, and it just means that anything in your header, so like this social bar or this menu, will appear on every page of your website. Okay, and the same with your footer, which is marked down here below with the horizontal grid line at the bottom. Okay, so this copyright text, that'll be placed on every page in your site. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Those are your horizontal grid lines. All right, so the social bar, I'm going to go ahead and click Set Social Links. And now I'm just going to select which ones I actually want to showcase. So for professional purposes, I use Twitter, and maybe I use Instagram, but I also use LinkedIn. So now I can just go up top here to the orange button, click Add Icons. And you'll see Wix will provide you with, all the different icons in different styles. Okay, so as I search for LinkedIn, I can select which one I want to choose. Click Add to Gallery. And now the last step I have to take is just for each icon, make sure that it links to my unique URL. So linkedin.com. And click Done. Okay. All right, so now people can connect with me on those professional social media platforms that I use. All right, so that's essentially, how you're going to add new design features and content into your website. You're going to drag and drop and then be able to customize it to fit your needs. Okay, so I encourage you guys to explore all the different options here in the Add panel. And hopefully you'll find everything that you need. The fourth panel down below here is your Wix app market. Okay, and think of this as like your Android app store or your iPhone app market. Here's where we have apps developed by Wix as well as apps developed by third parties. Okay, so if there's something you can't find in the ad panel, you can search for it here. Okay, so maybe you want to have the ability to highlight PDFs. You can search for that here, and you'll see there's a PDF viewer app that you can add to your site. Here in the app market is where we also have a lot of our Wix business solutions. Okay, so if you're looking to add an e-commerce platform to your website, similar to what we saw in Celebs on Sandwiches, here's where you can access the Wix Stores app. Okay, and that'll create an entire storefront and all of the back end, management for you to, build an e-commerce business. We also have things like Wix bookings. So maybe you are, creating a business where people are booking time with you. Maybe you're teaching yoga. You can use this as a way to schedule, your appointments, your workshops, and so forth, all online. Okay. Other apps that you might want to consider, maybe you want to highlight some of your writing in your portfolio. We have, of course, the Wix blog. And I'll just show you when you select add for any of these apps, what's going to happen is Wix is going to kind of build everything out here in the back end and automatically create the interface for the app that you've selected. So for a blog, for example, you'll see in just a matter of seconds, Wix added a blog page to my menu, and it also created kind of the layout for a blog. Okay, and now for you to add your own writing, you would just select Manage Posts from the menu. Okay, and now you can delete these sample posts, or you can just go ahead and click Edit. And here's where you can begin adding your own personal content. Okay, so very simple to kind of get started. You can, of course, upload your own images, change the layout. You can add videos, galleries, and so forth. But it's a really easy tool to start blogging with. And then once you're done, you would just click Publish. Okay, and Wix will automatically refresh. And now you can see, the headline change that I added here. And then, of course, here in settings, you could go ahead and change just the look of the blog, how it's organized and displayed, maybe the layout, maybe you want to change it so it's a little bit more compact and so forth. Okay, so that's just kind of a general, overview of how you can add these applications. But again, I encourage you, to explore what we have here in the app market. And like I mentioned, if you are building out a business, know that we have a lot of tools here that will hopefully, provide solutions for you. Okay. All right. So that's kind of a very, very brief overview of how you can begin designing and building your Wix website. Starting with a template and then, of course, adding new features, customizing your navigation, adding pages, and so forth. So that's all about the front end of Wix or the Wix editor. But now, before we move into questions, I quickly want to go through the Wix backend or the Wix dashboard. Okay, so we'll go up to Settings here and we'll navigate down to My Dashboard. Okay, so Settings up top, My Dashboard. And now this is bringing me to the back end, or some people like to refer to as your back office. Okay. So now here in my dashboard, I can see the site that I just created, and I can go ahead and take a site action to go back to edit it. I can invite a contributor if someone's going to work with me on it, or I could create a new site. Okay. Over here on the left, you'll see a black panel in your dashboard with a lot of different menu options. Of course, I encourage you to explore all of them, but just one or two that I want to highlight before we wrap up. You'll see here about midway down, we have under the title Ascend by Wix, which is essentially our professional suite of products to help you manage and grow your business. A number of different categories that you might, find useful as a business owner. But I will also say, as a student building a portfolio, a few things to take note of here. Okay. So first category is customer management. This is where you're going to engage, with your customers or site visitors. You'll see you have an inbox here to kind of manage any requests or conversations that are coming through your website. You also have a whole category of tools under marketing and SEO. Okay, and this is where I just want to, highlight a critical tool that I want all of you to consider using. And that is our Get Found on Google tool right here over, again, here on the black panel. When you click that, you now have access to our SEO wizard. Okay, and our SEO wizard is a tool that was built in partnership with Google to make sure that your site is going to be optimized for search engines. Okay, so SEO, search engine optimization, it's making sure that your website is going to have all the right signals, so keywords, tags, descriptions. It's going to say, this is a relevant site for a certain set of keywords. All right, so I just want to highlight where this is because it's an important tool for you to come back to once you're ready to launch your website, because you want to make sure after you've invested a lot of time in building your site that people are going to be able to find it on Google. Okay, so this is a really easy wizard. When you click Start Now, it's going to kind of guide you through the process of just making those changes on the back end to ensure that it's going to be optimized for Google. Okay, so that's again here in your dashboard from your main menu or your black panel under Marketing and SEO. Get Found on Google. Okay. You'll also see here we have tons of other types of marketing tools that you can use if you want to do email marketing campaigns or social media campaigns. So again, if you're managing a business or launching an event or promoting an initiative, these might be some tools that might be useful for you. Okay. All right. So that's the dashboard. Check it out. But before we move into questions, I'm just going to wrap up with just one final action here in the dashboard, which is to show you how you can upgrade your Wix website using the coupon code for Rutgers students and alums, and how you can upgrade to a premium plan. Okay. All right. So before we do that, let me just go back to my presentation. All right, and I'm going to navigate down here and just share with you the unique coupon code again for the participants here today. All right, so through our partnerships with Career Development, we're offering you guys full year premium website plan for free using this unique coupon code. Okay, and just note that the code will expire at the end of this year. So as long as you use it before December 31st, 2020, you're good to go. Okay, now I'll walk you through how you can actually apply it. All right, so I'm going to copy it here. I'll also throw it in the chat in case anyone missed it. All right, and now let me go back to my dashboard. Okay, so if I wanted to upgrade this particular site that I just created, I can navigate down here. Usually in purple, you'll see the call to action to upgrade. Okay, we have couple different plans you can use the code for. You'll also see oftentimes Wix will have, just general promotions. So right now we're offering 50% off to any of our users for these 3 plans. But for the Rutgers code in particular, you can use it for any 4 of these plans. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just select the combo plan. All of these plans will give you that option to connect to your custom domain. Okay, free for a year. All right, and that's typically the biggest reason that students will upgrade their Wix account. So once you choose a plan, you can see all the different features that come with it. You'll want to select the yearly option here. Usually will default to yearly. Okay, and then Wix will ask you to put your credit card information, and it will auto renew at the once the year is up. So you just want to remember when you use the coupon code, when you activated your premium account, that way, a year from then, you have the option to either switch to a different plan. Maybe you want to opt out of the premium plan and go back to being a free Wix user. You can do that as well. But I always just remind, students, put a reminder in your calendar. That way you have the option, to choose a different plan if you decide after the year is up. All right, now I'm just going to go ahead and enter my promo code here and click apply, and you'll see the price will drop down to 0, and then you can continue with your purchase. Okay. So again, that's the code available for the participants here on today's call. I just encourage you to not post the code on Twitter. There is a cap to how many usages we can offer. So just again, here for the participants in today's webinar. All right, and one last thing I'll just highlight here in the presentation, the Wix Help Center. So if there's anything, I'm sure there's lots of questions you have, things I didn't cover in today's session, things that may come up when you're working on your site at home, you want to go ahead and head to support.wix.com. Okay, and you'll have access to tons of step-by-step guides, tutorials, explanations about all of our different features and solutions. So if you get stuck, you can come here. We also have the option to speak to a customer support representative 24/7. You can request a call back. Okay. All right. And with that, I'd be happy to take any questions. I don't see a ton in the chat box, so feel free to add them there. And I'm happy to stay on for next couple of minutes to address any questions.
Thanks so much, Caitlin. And we see how easy it is to literally enhance your digital presence within less than an hour. You created a site there and got started with it. So very wonderful there. And thank you so much for your time, and sharing the coupon code with us as well. We do have some questions that were coming in through the Q&A feature. So I have a bunch of those listed here. We'll get to as many as we can. We just have a few minutes left. So is there an option to edit the code of the site for those who are interested in learning and applying that particular skill set?
Yeah, absolutely. So here in the editor, if you're interested in adding your own code, you can navigate up to dev mode here in the main menu. And when you hover over it, you'll see the option to turn on dev mode. And now you'll be able to use Corvid by Wix, which will give you access to your site structure, your page code, and so forth. So here's where you can enter your own code.
Okay, great. In terms of data analytics, is there a way to keep track of visitors and page views and things like that?
Yeah, great question. So here in the dashboard, you'll see over in the black panel, again, under the Ascend by Wix category, we have a section for analytics and reports. Okay, when you click on that, you'll see analytics for your site. Of course, this site, has been live only for a couple of seconds, so there's not a lot of data here, but you could imagine, being able to see visits, bounce rate, visits over time, and so forth, traffic sources. We also have here in the black panel on the left, under marketing, we have marketing integrations. Okay, when you click on marketing integration, we have additional suite of tools that you can connect your Wix website to. So probably the most popular here is Google Analytics. So if you have a Google Analytics account or you want to start one for your Wix website, you can connect the two platforms here, and then you'll see an even more robust set of analytics. The only thing to note here is that you do have to be a premium Wix user to access these integrations. Okay, and you can see other ones here, other data tools like Hotjar, which allows you to see like heat maps of how users are engaging with your website and so forth.
And along those lines, other than some of the back end components here that you're highlighting, if you downgrade to the free account after a year, will you lose any other content or anything that was created within the premium feature?
Nope, you won't lose any content. Your website, all the content will remain in place. You will just have to go back to the wixsite.com domain. So that's, kind of just the big thing to just keep in mind.
Okay. And we had a couple questions. I'm going to try to condense them into one here, but around the limit on data. Is there a maximum limit on the uploaded information or data that can be uploaded to Wix for
Yeah.
the free version or otherwise? And I had a question here about the 20 gig capacity. Is that including everything such as video?
So it depends on what type of video. I always recommend, like, if you have questions on, types of files that are accepted, sizes, kind of more of the kind of technical things. Like I always, kind of get questions on like, file size limits. We have a lot of reference materials here in the Help Center that will kind of provide you with all that different detail. So here's like a good one I usually bookmark. So as you're designing, you kind of know what's recommended, what's supported, and so forth.
Okay, great. Is
And
there
I
any way to
can,
upload a WordPress project here into Wix?
um, there's no automatic way to upload any sort of WordPress content. If you want to manually take images or copy from a WordPress site that you have, you would have to just do that, manually. But there is no kind of magic button to transfer anything over to
Okay.
Wix.
Okay. And our last question is, where are documents stored when you link to them? Are they kept inherently within Wix as a warehousing of sorts, or is it linking to something like your own Google Drive or another storage?
Yeah, it's like, so if you upload files from Google Drive, it's just linking to what's sitting on your drive there. So, you'll see all of your files as you're, developing your site. You can see here, there's a nice kind of shortcut for your media. And so here's where you can, as you're designing and building, upload all of your content. But if, like I said, if you're using Google Drive, it's still being housed on Drive. It's just pointing to that file. And one other point there, I see this mistake often, and I've done it myself. If you do like have a shared document that you're featuring from Google Drive, just to make sure that you're making it accessible, for the public, and there's no restrictions, or else it won't be viewed.
Okay, wonderful. Well, Caitlin, we got a lot of thank you messages coming through the chat feature and through the Q&A part as well. So I know this was very much appreciated, and thank you so much for your time and sharing this knowledge with us. And thank you all to our audience attendees, to our alumni. I hope you found this program to be helpful. And everybody, please continue to stay safe and well, and continue to check for upcoming events with ouralumni.com at our events section. You can see all of our great programs up ahead. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great night.
Take care. Thanks again. Bye.